a social business and worker community cooperative. So without further ado, I will hand over to you, Grace.
Great. So I've just pulled up some old slides from a previous talk that I gave. So I might just use some of the pictures and just to help give a little idea of what it is that we do. And also I just really love this GIF that somebody made of a kind of paper washing machine spinning around. So any excuse to get it out, I like it. So yeah, I've been involved with Kitty's Laundrette since the very beginning. So I'm a founding member, and yes, we're based up in Liverpool, just about 5 minutes walk from Liverpool Football Club Stadium. If anyone's been to Liverpool before, so it's in the north end of town, about 10-15 minutes out of the city centre. And so I just added this last minute for you guys. This is just a little diagram about how we're structured as a cooperative. As a worker community cooperative, and we made that decision so that we could hold both the workers who have that large scale investment and involvement with the business at the centre, but likewise we hold ourselves accountable to the local community. So we wanted that input to be reflected also in the structure. So that's the worker community cooperative part, and then our membership is made up of anybody who uses the laundrette, the workers, other people in the local area with expertise who want to see us succeed. And then the circle on the outside is like the wider community who use the space and the services, but maybe aren't yet members, or maybe they'll never be members. But that's roughly the kind of structure of the organisation. But I'm very happy to talk more about that in the questions if anyone's got any kind of technical questions that they want to ask. But this is the interior of the laundrette. So it's a reimagined local amenity and accessible social space for our community and in our community. We offer a wide variety of laundry services, such as really affordable DIY service washes. We do big items like duvets, and we do an eco alternative to dry cleaning. And we also do small commercial contracts for other local businesses. And then part of our kind of social impact is also that we do free washing through the local food banks. We do vouchers and stuff like that. So our services are really broad, from free stuff to working with other businesses and everything in between. And it reaches a really broad cross section of our local community as well by having that kind of broad service base. So thinking about the environment was really important to our organisation when we set it up. And so all of our machines are electric and they all run on renewable energy, and we use biodegradable bags, and we've got eco liquids, and we do a refill. We have a number of products that you can use with the refills for zero waste. And we also work a lot in partnership with another local social enterprise which has cargo bikes to deliver laundry in the local area. So older people with disabilities, people who are working from home who can't get to us, can use this delivery service on cargo bikes, which is certainly very novel up in Anfield where we are, but it's good fun. So importantly, the laundrette is a community space where all sorts of things can happen. So a lot of these pictures are pre-COVID. We've used the laundrette to host a wide variety of events and activities, things from kids' story times. We have older neighbour coffee mornings and quiz nights, and we also have an intergenerational social club that meets up once a month as well. We've had language clubs, people who are not from the area who want to learn and develop English and make friends and things like that, can come along to that. We've had film nights, basically anything that you can squeeze into a laundrette. We are all ears for that when it comes to the social events and activities. Most of them are free, and we really hope that people find out about them when they come in to do their laundry, and then they maybe find out that, oh, there's a film night later on in the week, I'll come to that, or there's a thing that I could go with my kids to and stuff. So that's a view of the laundrette from the outside. And so normally when talking about the laundrette, I don't really talk about myself, because most of the time that's not really, in my view, very important to the story, because it's about us being a community business which is situated in the local area, employs lots of local people, and offers local services, and that's like the kind of important story to tell. Also, I'm not so into the whole social enterprise narrative of like singular individuals. I don't think that's important. But for this context, I guess, of like, how do you come to find out about cooperatives or start a cooperative? Maybe it's a bit useful just to really briefly say that, like, so I didn't go to university or anything like that, but I was really interested in being creative and also interested in how that connects to the world around me, and always interested in like positive social change. So I used to get involved with lots of DIY art projects and politics stuff in the city. We used to often like working in collaboration with us, well, actually always working in collaboration with others. We'd put on exhibitions, film screenings, manage large and small events, and I would do some facilitation of creative projects, write for art magazines and do that kind of thing. And there was loads of trying stuff out, loads of learning through doing and working with my peers, as well as people who were quite different from me, and valuing what each other had to offer and like learning a lot from each other. And I used to have a job as a cleaner and work in bars and things like that to make my money. And so I was kind of like asking all these questions about, you know, how do you have positive social change? Like, how do you create space for people to access creativity, and especially maybe people who are otherwise excluded from those kinds of spaces. But also I was really came across the cooperative sort of movement as a really as some kind of possible alternative, because one of the things that's, I mean, DIY projects are amazing. Collaborating and working with other people in your free time because you're passionate about stuff is amazing, but there is a lack of structure a lot of the time, and that structure can often like erode the potential of what's possible in those activities. So I became really interested in cooperatives as like viable models for how you really like practice your politics and self-organize to achieve things. And also, as you know, someone who's you know, sort of like, I guess, anti-capitalist, or I don't know, like I'm not, you know, I've got other sets of values. Cooperatives also felt like they offered a way to live your values whilst also, you know, within a structure that made things possible. And so kind of with all this stuff going around in your head, you're thinking about all these different questions. And also, how do you sustain what it is that you're doing into the future? You know, if you see the value in that, how do you create a mechanism for that to be sustainable? And so I used to use my local laundrette, and I would be sitting in there. This is not me, by the way, but this is just a kind of artistic impression of a laundrette with someone in it. I started thinking about that space as a kind of warm, open, semi-public space. You know, it's got blank walls. People are in there for an allotted period of time, where that time could be sort of spent engaging with each other. And so, you know, really started to ask the question of like, could this be a space that would contain a lot of these questions that I was asking? So back in 2016, we started thinking quite seriously about how it could happen, and began to ask the question of like, how do you set up a laundrette? Which, you know, I had zero idea about. And, you know, also, could it function as a business which is underpinned by creative space? And so we started doing loads of research and started discovering more and more about laundrettes and the kind of role that they already have in the social and historical fabric of our communities and on our high streets. And, you know, here's a collection of lovely laundrette related photos. And, you know, EastEnders, Mr. Bean, My Beautiful Laundrette, they exist in our cultural and social memory. And then, quite specific to Liverpool, we also started understanding the role that the old wash houses had in the sort of social history of the city, particularly that of working class women and that of migrants. A lot of the Chinese laundrettes across the country, but particularly in Liverpool, which has one of the oldest Chinese communities in Europe. And just understanding that this is actually like a long history of these spaces, and that what we wanted to do was just build on that long history and like reimagine it for a contemporary context. And then we also came across the story of Kitty Wilkinson, who was an Irish immigrant to Liverpool, who was instrumental in establishing the first ever public wash house in the country, and that was here in Liverpool in 1842. And so, of course, we called our laundrette after her, because we thought, wow, what an amazing story. that connects to what we're trying to do. But also, you know, she really, for us, it's about her, but it's also about who she represents, all those women working in their communities, you know, working class people, migrants, how they've all contributed to our country and built these spaces of social life and actually made amazing positive contributions. And so it's about Kitty, but it's also about all the other people like her whose history is broadly like under recognized, under celebrated. So we called our Laundrette after her. And we also in the research learned a lot about hygiene poverty and these kind of hidden things that are going on in our society that also gives more like logic and reasoning to why we're doing what we're doing. The area that we're based in Liverpool has many assets and many wonderful things, but it is within the kind of way that the government collects statistics about deprivation, multiple deprivation. Our area is in the bottom 1% in the whole country, so it does face a lot of challenges. And so a lot of these things around hygiene poverty, which is linked to food poverty and stuff like that, is prevalent in our area. Washing machines are the #1 item that people go into debt through hire purchase companies for. And that's just because you need it. If you've got, you know, you've just moved into new social accommodation that generally doesn't come with any white goods, you've got to shell out on a washing machine, fridge, oven, all these different things. So, you know, these are the kinds of things that people are going into debt for. So kind of there was all these reasons coming together about why we felt like, oh, this is a really good thing to do. We really need to open this laundrette. And so we did a lot of research into the business model and started thinking about how we could raise the money to start this business and you know, how we could talk to as many people in the city and in the area about our idea and get their input and help them and get them to shape what we're doing. Do you know, Daniel, I forgot to look at the time when I started talking. Do you have any sense of when that was?
You've been going for about 12 minutes, which is absolutely fine. I don't know how you want to accept questions or if you want to wait until the end and then give people a chance to introduce themselves and speak. It's completely up to you.
Yeah. Okay, I'll really whiz through the last bits of how we did it because is kind of useful sometimes. But one of the main things is that quite early on, we made contact with people in the cooperative world, people in other co-ops that we knew about. We also applied for some startup funding, which was linked to some stuff that Co-ops UK were doing. We got allocated a cooperative business advisor. So like the cooperative network has played a really big role in helping our business to start. But because we kind of straddle multiple kind of sectors, I guess, we're also a community business and a social enterprise. So we do also utilize and benefit from kind of networks in those other areas. But I'm just gonna, again, I'm gonna play this video because I love it. But we commissioned like a local animator to make us an animation. We ran a crowdfunder to get people's support and input. So we also raised money from our community itself to invest in the laundrette. And we commissioned local artists to make kind of laundry themed rewards and stuff like that people could pledge for. And we got lots of good local press and people, you know, they're kind of, so this was all before we'd opened. This was all like helping us build the idea in people's consciousness so that then it was, you know, to be opened after that. And we then managed to find a space. We did loads of work to renovate the space, and which we all did ourselves, and we put loads of creativity into the space as well, because we wanted that to come through. So whether it's, you know, even just in the things that protect the windows or in the signage, you know, we really put a lot of love into that. And so this is the before and after shots of the space, and this is the before and after of the inside. So we put a lot of love into it, and I do think that is like, you can feel that when you come in, and that was also important for us because it was about showing our love for our local community, the place where we live and the people in it. And I think that is one of the things that also makes it a nice place to stay and talk to your neighbour, find out about stuff going on, get to know us. We can connect you with other services. So that's quite important. And this is some pictures of our opening party. We had a ceilidh in the street, which was fun. And we have like pants bunting, and we had a DJ on top of the washing machines and things like that. So lots of fun, lots of creativity underpinning the business model, and lots of collaboration. I'm going to maybe just stop there because I think it's useful for me to be talking about what you want to know about. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now.
Oh, thank you so much for that, Grace. It's a brilliant talk, and I love the presentation as well.